The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Welcome back to Probably a Podcast. And if you listened or watched last week and you're like, these bitches didn't change clothes, that's because we didn't get up from this couch.
We're still talking.
Okay, we're still talking.
Still
Welcome back to our FaceTime. This is what life is like now that you've moved to Florida.
I know.
You're just gone. I'm sad. Basically, we just FaceTime all day. We do still have
All
like
day.
2 hours, well, not all day, but we have like 2-hour conversations once a week. And
Yeah.
then like, you know, we just like respond. Social media is a beautiful thing. I can
We respond to each other's stories all day.
just keep up with your whole life,
I'm
which
an
is great.
extremely low maintenance friend, though. I will say, like every
Yeah.
once in a while, Shannon will be like, "I haven't talked to you in a while, and I just want you to know, like, you're still my best friend forever." And I'm like, "Girl,
I know.
I'm here."
I really, and I'm not trying to copy you, I really put myself in that category too. I think because there's been a few times in my life where I've had people expect more from me than I'm able to give, and I feel bad, and then maybe they'll say like, I just feel like you, and I'm like, oh no, she thought she was a level 1 tier friend, but she's level 2 tier friend.
Yeah.
But like sometimes you can get crisscrossed, like you are their level 1 friend, and so, but I'm like, but you're my 2, so like I don't have that much time. And then you get married and you have a life and you have a house and you have a job and you have a career, and like your friends will always be your best friends. I'll always make time for them, but like when you get older, your priorities do shift, you know?
Yeah.
And like one day we're going to have a bunch of fucking kids running around. Like you already have a kid. Like you got Zany boy. And so life is just different. And I really appreciate that you and I both don't put pressure on.
Yeah.
All my friends have moved away. Literally, this is like why Taylor and I have to stay so close in proximity because like everyone else is gone. Like Mary Carlisle, Florida, Florida. Florida has just swallowed all of my besties.
You're like, bring them back.
Come back. But yeah, it's great. I really appreciate friends that are like you.
No,
and we'll always be BFFs forever.
Mimi's pretzel.
And I love when you come and like stay with me and it's just like a summer party. And it's
Yeah,
so
I
fun.
mean, I really just came in just to see you, just to catch up, just to podcast, just to do a little like I feel
Do
like
a little
I feel like we
dance.
won't see each other for a while, but then I am intentional with connecting with people.
course.
I don't really see. I mean, I kind of live in a secluded little
Yeah,
area.
moving to Franklin, you would have thought I moved to another country. It's so crazy. The other day, Taylor and I went to 12 South, which is like, I'm not this bitch. Like, I love the growth. I love Nashville, but I will say 12 South has really lost its charm, which is kind of sad. There's just like a bunch of high rises and restaurants. Now, with that being said, the restaurants are delicious. And there's this place called Henry's that I really like. And we drove there and I was like, God, I wish this was here when we lived in 12 South. She's like, I know. And I was like, I wish we could come to lunch here more often. She's like, Shannon, from our house to this exit, it was 25 minutes. Like, and I was like, right. Like, I've got to get out more.
You're like, too bad we moved away. She's so,
it's such a shame we moved so far away. It's like, I'm in my like rot era. And I will say after traveling for like, and you get this because you just traveled a lot too. Like after traveling from London to South Africa to do all this stuff. And then you're all packing, you're living out of suitcases. When I got back here,
when you're about to go on tour.
And I'm about to go on tour. I knew that I had the month of February, and I told everyone, I was like, in the month of February, don't ask me to go to dinner. Don't ask me to do anything. I'm rotting away. And I haven't like had the desire to go out and do anything.
I understand.
And normally I want to see and be seen. I love that shit.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I just want to be home and rot away. But it's the winter uglies. You know what I mean? Like everyone feels this way. You know the deal. It's like not really actually supposed to be New Year until March or some shit.
Yeah, till spring. Spring has sprung. No, Austin's, because he works from home now, which was such a jump scare contrast from him being a football coach with people all day, every day.
Right.
You know, lots of community. And I've worked from home for 10 years now. It's like that's just always been my thing. And he is like, oh my God, I gotta get out. It's crazy. His house, prison. And I'm just like, oh no, I love it here.
I love this prison.
Like when I am out and traveling, I'm on. And when I come home, I am like,
yeah, I agree. Okay, so we recapped a lot of stuff. Oh my God, do you know what I do have to say? And we're done with the wedding talk and the crazy dick talk.
Honestly,
from last episode.
I'll never speak of it against you. You guys are lucky you got the story and it's dead.
I didn't really say, I'm so sorry that you couldn't talk about this in your podcast, but thank you so much for gifting it to my podcast.
Anything for the Probably Podcasters.
There was one more confession that I forgot to read, which I was like, oh my gosh, this one's pretty bad. So let me just end it here. This is like a crazy confession story that someone happened. If you listen to last episode, something crazy happened at Anna Grace's wedding and people were giving confessions about theirs. It says, one of my best friends was maid of honor in her sister's wedding and was paired with her new brother-in-law's brother, the best man, to walk down the aisle. He is in an electric wheelchair. So they get about 3 rows down the aisle. She's walking. He's obviously rolling. And my friend Erin's dress gets caught under the wheel of the wheelchair.
Oh, no.
It rips her dress down and fully apart. Her boobs were fully out.
No.
You could see her thong from the back because there was a huge hole in the dress. And like the boss maid of honor she is, she pulled up the top part, walked the rest of the way down, and did the whole wedding ceremony basically ass out. She said people in the back row could literally see her thong. Oh. I was like, oh My gosh. But like, what do you do? Like nothing.
You're like, the show must go on.
The show must go on. You're not going to get mad at the sweet man in the wheelchair. He's just doing what he could do.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh no.
That's
my boobs. Like, here's the
tough.
thing. I will say probably my proudest body part is that I know I have
boobs.
I've got great boobs. They're
great boobs.
They just like, and I had these massive titties when I was like 13. I was like little tiny thing with a double D.
Too much power.
They came in. I had too much power. Too much power. They came in too early, too hot, too strong. But anyways, I would actually still like, you don't want someone to see them when they're not like ready to be seen. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. Well,
when they're just like smushed and like out, and you're just like,
a wedding, they're probably like taped or some shit.
Yeah, like your nipples like taped up to your like collarbone, and you're
oh my
just
gosh, the way like James could see me in any form, and I still every once in a while before we hook up, I'll like flick a nipple. I'm like, I still want him to look right, you know?
Yeah, you want him to look a little ripe.
Yeah, you want him to look like, I personally have neutral nips, and so like
They're
mine
clear.
are very see-through. They're pale, okay? And like I'll always be like, come on, girl, get on now. Like, let's get you these babies to life.
That's very common though. I think everybody needs a little.
Is it? But yeah, you want a zhuzh.
You want
Just
a little zhuzh. Yeah, yeah. That's like
So that's jarring. I'm really sorry that happened to you.
I'm really sorry. Actually, I do have, okay, one last thing and then we can be done. But my mom went to a wedding when she was young. She was a +1. I forgot about this story. And the bride walks in, the procession happens, the bride walks down the aisle, gets to the end, and the groom's there, all the brides and everyone's lined up, their bouquet ready. They're all like, yay. And the bride turns around and says, thank you guys for coming today. I just want to let you know that I just found out that the groom, or whatever his name is, was fucking Sarah, her maid of honor.
Oh.
And so the wedding is canceled. Like, decided, you know what? I'm not going to handle this privately. The wedding's here. It's happening. I'm going to call these motherfuckers out. And the whole place is like, and she's like, so.
Your mom went to that wedding?
Yes, mom was like a +1 at a date, like a random wedding.
I would have been like, where are the cameras? Where are the cameers?
No, that's pretty much what Shannon said at my wedding. She's like, I feel like that was a prank. I was like,
We got punked. Where's Ashton Kutcher? For
Where
real?
Ashton? And then she was like, and the father of the bride was like, so we'd like to invite you guys all, a big paid for party to have some food and drink and just enjoy yourselves, but no wedding today.
Oh, no wedding today.
Can you imagine?
Let me say, that's fucking badass. Like, obviously the Sarah and the groom left. They weren't invited to stay for the party. Surely. Damn.
So moral of the story is just
moral of the story is crazy shit happens. I really want to hear Chris recount that story.
well, next time you see her, she'll tell you.
One thing about both of our moms, storytellers
Storytellers
themselves. Now my mom, I don't know where I get it. She tends to give too many details. We're like,
I'm extremely long-winded as well, and also when that video went viral, people were like, skip to the point. I'm like, but the backstory is everything. I'm creating an excellent scene for you.
You do have to understand the scene.
I'm putting on a play right now.
What else happened since we haven't seen each other? There's been a lot going on in our lives. You moved into a house. You bought a house with like, I'm not trying to like blow up your spot here, but like it has a pool. That's so cool to me. Like if you bought a house with a pool, like you've made it.
I did FaceTime Shannon and she was like, you have a pool. Well, it was actually really crazy too, because we were not like, we want a pool. I was just insisting on living in this one neighborhood. And also pretty much since we've moved, we initially moved to Jacksonville and then we actually moved away and then we just never told anyone like where we moved to again. So I've been kind of like mysterious about it because I'm like, you know what? I don't want anyone to know where I live ever.
Yeah.
But this house, I was very specific. I was like, I need to live on this street, period. And Austin's like, probably not going to happen. Like there's no houses for sale. Everyone's been living here forever. We were going on a walk one day in this neighborhood because we were renting a house down the road in the neighborhood. And our neighbor bumps into us and is like, what are you guys up to? We're like, oh, we actually just went to an open house on the other side of basically there's a swamp and a beach side.
Yeah. And
the swamp is like where all the gators are. Obviously it's Florida, Jurassic Park. And I was like, I really don't want to live there. But Austin's like, let's just get, tell the universe, get the energy right. Come on, the drill.
Yeah.
We're just going to start putting things in motion. Our neighbor on a walk, I felt like he was like a video game character that's like, hey, what are you guys up to? We were like, we were just looking at an open house, but we just missed it. Just closed. He's like, well, I'd love to sell you my house. And we were like,
what street is it on? Where
do you live? It was on the street.
That would happen to you.
No,
because
it was
just
like
falls out of the sky for you.
Things fall out of the sky and smack
You're
me in
literally
the face.
Chicken Little.
Yeah, like I'm like, oh, and then we boom got the house. But the kicker was that the house had a pool, and I was like, I don't want a pool. I don't know how to take. Oh, it has a hot tub too. I'm like, we don't know how to take care of this.
It is high maintenance, like pools and hot tubs, high maintenance.
Yeah, we were like, I don't know. And then I will say now, especially because Zane's 13, like all of his little friends, they just love it.
I asked you the other day, I was like, do you
pool.
use the pool? Because I don't know if I'd use a pool that much if I had a pool. but maybe I would. And she was like, I'll tell you what, huge hit with the kids. Like
huge hit.
But then I thought about it. I grew up on a lake. Like you can entertain yourself for hours.
Like we're the cool house because not a lot of houses in the neighborhood have a pool, so we're like the party pool.
Like you just need a noodle. Like we were kids, like we didn't have shit. Like my dad and mom were not going out and buying the newest coolest like water toys, right? Like we had noodles and we had shit to jump off of. Like if there was a surface near water, we would climb it and jump off of it, and that's that. That's it. Like I think one time we got into like a phase where we had blow up mattresses out there. We'd like surf on them, like jump off stuff and surf on them. But like now that's some redneck shit.
Not
like,
us on Shannon's bachelorette party in the Bahamas where they're like throwing like burr, 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 like smoke guns at us, and we're playing dunking categories. Something about a pool. Remember?
Yeah. You just want to play games in pools.
You just like want to like play around and like do little fun things.
Do you know what I said to Taylor the other day? And she laughed really hard. What? And I was like, I'm not kidding.
What?
Something came up about my bachelorette, and I go, that was the worst trip ever. And she was like, what? I go, you can say it. That trip sucked. And she was like, I don't think it sucked. And I was like, no, it was a disgusting house. That house was so gross. Why did I make everyone go to the Bahamas at the end of June? It was so hot. Even the locals were like, why are you here? The house was so nasty. We all collectively, she's like, I will see, everyone thought they were going to die in that house. And I was like, then we got
Kyle made me like do an exorcism in the house like 3 times because he was convinced.
And it was just the worst. My least favorite trope in friendships is when everyone's like, no, we're having the best time. It's like, we're all best friends here. Can't we just all be like, yeah. And like Taylor goes, I will say this about your trip. I was adamant that we should do hotel rooms. And I was like, and by the way, if you ever want to have a bachelorette in the Bahamas, 1, do not do it in midsummer. It's just like not a vibe. And 2, like you stay in a hotel, do not rent a house in the Bahamas. And I think I didn't really say this, 1, because I don't want to be really negative about my bachelorette, and 2, well, I can also be negative about it because I paid for the whole thing. So like, sorry. But I just think like I wanted the camaraderie of the house. The only thing that was great is I always have to shout out Batch Babes, like made the house look less ratchet. Would they like any like gross, I think they covered up a lot of black mold with balloons,
Perfect.
Which was nice.
That's all we needed.
And of course like the decorations and all the funny shot glasses and all the stuff you guys did was iconic. And the group itself was iconic, but like,
oh, I was going to say I had great camaraderie.
Yeah. Camaraderie. But like, I wish we kind of all like what's the word I'm looking for? Commiserated in misery more together. I think everyone was kind of just trying to like float around it. Like, no, this is so much fun. Like you know that I got scabies from that trip, right? Did I ever tell you that? I got scabies from my bachelorette. I know it was from the Bachelorette. I know it was. And the craziest thing,
I'm so scared right now.
The craziest thing was, which I think this is how I got it. I thought, how did I get scabies? Because y'all didn't know this, but me and Taylor ahead of time.
Would I know if I had gotten scabies?
Yes, of course.
I'm like, is that something we could
I checked with everyone. I was like, itchy. Like no one was.
No one told me this. I've moved too far away.
No, you've moved too far away. No, I also just knew like no one had it. Like and I thought to myself, how did I have everyone get scabies? But I think it's because me and Taylor were grossed out about the bedding. We like when we looked at the house, we were like, okay,
your own bedding?
We brought our own sheets and we changed the sheets and I think I got it from changing the sheets. Like, cause I was like, how did I get it? I changed the sheets, but I think it was because I changed the sheets.
You mean to tell me that people are out here getting scabies from Airbnbs?
Oh, of course. Not normal ones, but like that
Courtney?
one was pretty gross.
I've never heard this. Is that kind of like
no, it's not common.
Is that kind of like lice?
It's not common, by the way. I really don't think Airbnbs have scabies. Like I really do not think Airbnbs have that kind of stuff. Most are really.
Is it just like a little bug?
It's a microscopic bug that like burrows in your skin. I've had scabies before. That's why honestly I'm lucky because I knew what it was. I had it 10 years ago.
What did you do to get rid of it?
So because I had it 10 years ago and I had a case 10 years ago, have I talked about this on the podcast before? The other day I told a story on the podcast and I go, have I ever told this? And I got a DM that said you told that story on MC and Use podcast and those episodes aren't online anymore. So I was like, oh, because remember how I kept saying, I think I told the story.
You might have told it on it with MC.
And Courtney's like, you never have. And I was like, okay, so I'll make this. I'm sorry if this is a repeat story. I definitely wouldn't have told it in years and years. Now, I have been a lover and a user of Seed DS-01 for a very long time now, so I can really speak to its benefits. I basically found this through a friend, and I saw a bunch of influencers on Instagram using it, and I was like, okay, let me see if this works, because I was having some issues in the bathroom and some gut problems, and I was like, this is starting to really mentally and physically affect me, and I want to get it right. So I started taking Seed's DS-01. The cool thing about the DS-01 is it's a symbiotic, so it's formulated with 24 clinically and scientifically studied strands to support whole body benefits. And that's where they really get it right. Okay. So including gut health, I feel like gut health is so important. We're all talking about it, but I feel like not everyone's doing something for it. And Seed is truly just a master in the game. It's going to also help with a lot of other stuff: skin health, heart health, immune health, gut barrier integrity, and that gut microbiome balance and micronutrient synthesis. Now, I'm no scientist, that's way above my pay grade, but it really does work in just 2 capsules a day. The DSO1, it's cool because it's formulated with strands that are clinically validated to reduce abdominal bloating and intermittent constipation after 2 weeks. Now, I'm not personally someone that deals with like bloating all the time, but the intermittent constipation is something that was really bogging me down. So I really, really love that. Now, you do have to stay consistent with it. You can start to see results within 2 weeks, which is honestly so fast. So like, that's amazing. And includes strands to support clearer, healthier looking skin in as little as 12 weeks. Like I said, consistency is key. And it's loved by their members, by myself. 92% of members have recommended DSO1 to a friend or family member. That's myself included. I got it from a friend. I always recommend it to my friends now. And it's shown to increase good gut bacteria by 4.6 times, or over 400%. Like, it's just amazing. So if you guys want to go ahead and get the new year started with a routine that helps you now, by going to seed.com/probably and use code probably to get 25% off your first month. That's 25% off your first month of Seed's DSO1 Daily Symbiotic at seed.com/probably. Code probably. So basically, I start getting these, they start very, very, very small. I get this tiny little itch, right? Like this tiny, tiny little itch, but it's an itch that is not like a mosquito bite. Like, it's not it itches so bad you want to scratch it off. But it was just on, I still have the photos screenshot on my phone. It's no, y'all don't need to see it. It's just like a tiny little red dot, and I circled it and sent it to my mom because I was like, this is itch for 2 weeks. And she was like, it's a mosquito bite. I was like, it's not. Then the thing about scabies is they burrow in your skin and then they crawl, and you can see, you'll know if you have scabies. This is to not freak you guys out. This is to explain most people don't have scabies. It's not a very common thing. You know if it's scabies because they're linear on you, because they burrow and then they lay eggs and then they hatch. And so they are dots in a line. Like, if you see itchy dots in a successional line, that's most likely scabies. Also, here's the thing, they keep growing. So if they keep like more itchy bumps, they like fatty parts of your body. So like mine was like on my calves, in between my toes, like it started there, but then I had them like on my belly, underneath my boobs, like my arms. I could not figure out what it was. And this was so long ago. It was before we filmed Very Cavallari. Now, also at the time, I was like, what is this? But I kept asking my boyfriend at the time, because we were always sleeping with each other and sharing beds and stuff, and obviously like, you know, having sex with each other. And I was like, do you have anything? And he's like, no. And I was like, okay. Then eventually he did. And that's how it's spread by like frictional touching. It's not a sexually transmitted disease. Obviously, I got it, but like that would be a great way to spread it. Okay, right. And so I could give it to you if we like slept in the same bed or something. So, anyways, he started getting them, like same like fatty areas on like in his groin, like crazy stuff, and I was like, what the fuck? We could not figure out what it was. I went to 3 doctors. I went to a doctor in Tennessee. They were like, dermatitis, itchy dermatitis skin. I'm like, okay. It never went away. It kept getting worse and worse and worse. Now, here's the thing about scabies. Scabies, because they're living bugs inside of you, they're nocturnal. So at night, if you guys Google scabies, it'll say this. At night, scabies become active. So you have a very hard time sleeping, because at night you're like, ugh, the feeling of something crawling inside of you is what it is. It's like, it's so itchy and you want to scratch it. And I'm really good, because I get bit by mosquitoes all the time. I'm really good at not touching things that itch, but this is like otherworldly. Like, you cannot, like, you're doing it in your sleep because it itches so bad.
This is traumatic.
And then the other thing, oh my God, I know. I cannot believe I've never told this story. Maybe
parasites are active at night too.
Oh yeah, that's gross.
Everything is active at night, and I don't like it.
Yucky night crawlers. So also, if the hot water irritates them. So I like hot showers. And also, when you feel gross and itchy, you like want to take a shower, I would take a hot shower, and I would come out of the shower and I would be like disturbingly like itchy.
They're like,
yes. And so it got to a point that was so bad. I went to a doctor in South Carolina. My mom was like, come to my dermatologist and see my dermatologist. The dermatologist in South Carolina, to the point, they misdiagnosed us. They were like, you have a itchy dermatitis, you have something. Everyone just gave me like creams to like settle my skin and stuff. But I'd be like, look, they're like they itch so bad you can't understand. Like, I'm going crazy. Now, if you Google like scabies back in the day before there was a treatment for it, if you Google that, people used to kill themselves. That's how it would eventually get to the point, because there was no cure for scabies back in the day, back in like when people had like scarlet fever and shit back in that day.
Yeah.
And obviously when they were on like ships and stuff, and like people literally got like scurvy and scabies and all that kind of shit, right?
They're pirates.
They're like on the Oregon Trail spreading scabies to each other. They would end up killing themselves because they would be like, I cannot live with this like itchiness. Okay. That's how bad it can get mentally. So it was so bad.
There's also like a living thing like in your body too.
And I kept telling my mom, like, I'm going crazy. I can't film the show. I kept being like, I cannot film the show. And I knew we were going to start filming in February. And it was around like Christmas time. And my dad actually, because that dermatologist misdiagnosed me, my dad was so upset. My dad doesn't really get like this. Like, he's just a really like even keel guy, whatever. But if you cross him, he's like upset. My dad was so bothered by the time we figured out what it was. And then he was like, so that dermatologist in South Carolina misdiagnosed you? I go, grossly misdiagnosed me. Yes. And my ex-boyfriend at the time. My dad like called and was like, you cut lesions off my white, because my mom's got like a lot of like precancerous skin spots. You know, that generation like fried themselves in the sun with baby oil and stuff. And my mom's a natural redhead. So she's all constantly getting things removed at the dermatologist. My dad's like, I question your validity as a dermatologist working on my wife all the time when you misdiagnosed my daughter so horrendously. Like, he like was serious about it, rightfully so. And so anyways, we finally figured out, because my ex-boyfriend goes to a different doctor. He's like, I can't deal with this anymore. He goes to a different doctor, and he calls the doctor. He goes and the doctor says, you have scabies. It couldn't be more clear. It's the most obvious thing I've ever seen. It's by the way, a horrible case. My boyfriend at the time goes, you ought to see my girlfriend. He's like, tell her to come to me. I go in. He tells me, his words, not mine, in my 40 years of practicing medicine, this is the worst case of undiagnosed scabies I've ever seen in my life. I once again tell you guys, how do I end up being like the Google image of like what you, like when you Google, do I have scabies? And it pops up and you're like, I don't have that. Jesus Christ. When you like, that's what I looked like. Here, I cannot share this photo online, but I can show you this photo.
Let me see. He like, we know when the doctor takes their glasses off and they're like, you're like, oh no.
So this is how it started.
Okay.
That's how it started. Just like one bump on my leg that I circled and was like, Mom, what is this?
Okay.
This is like what it became like, kind of. And then it got to the point that it was like they were all over my body.
Oh!
They were all over my body.
Oh, no, the scabies had taken over your human. Oh my God.
She's in such distress.
Oh my God, Shannon. I'm like.
They were all over my body. And then, look at this. And then they started going into my butt. They like, because they want like fatty spots. Okay.
Shannon, how the fuck did you get rid of it?
The doctor tells me, I've never seen anything like this. He's like, I'm going to have to give you, and keep in mind, Taylor was pregnant at the time with Walker. I call my mom, I tell her, it's scabies. She's like, what the fuck? She's like, don't go near Taylor. I'm like, I've had this for a month and a half. It's just been running rampant.
Just been multiplying.
The only way to get rid of scabies is to use a cream that is poison. It's a poison. It's literally a cream that kills anything inside of you, like a bug inside of you, whatever. And what happens is it kills the bug, and then they literally like die and like flake off. Like, I remember I would watch like my skin get this like not whitehead, but like this like crusty, like almost like what happens after you pick a pimple and it turns like crusty. And then I'd have to like wipe the crust off, and it would be like the bugs, like whatever it was, my skin react, like whatever. But the doctor tells me, he says, I think the cream will work multiple applications. You're only allowed to put it on once a day. I wanted to cover my whole body with it like 4 times a day. But he was like, it's poison, so do not do that. He said, I'm going to let you do 2 applications. I think your boyfriend's only going to have to do 1. And he did. He did 1 and his went away. I think you're going to have to do 2 applications. Yours is so bad. I'm going to tell you, I don't think that's going to cure it. And if it doesn't, I hope it does. But if it doesn't, I'm going to have to give you this pill. You're going to take this pill. I'm going to prescribe you a very heavy dose of a Xanax and sleeping pill with this. Take them at the same time, because this pill is what they give to horses when horses have worms. And he was like, it's going to make you feel a very intense burning sensation inside your body. You will be okay, but you will want to be asleep for it. I'm like, Okay.
This is
No,
so scary.
it's so crazy. So the cream, by the way, 2 applications did not work. It helped. I could tell it helped for sure, but I was still like, they're just still there. A lot of them. And he was like, okay. He was like, we're gonna have to do the pill. So I'll never forget. I lived with these 2 girls at the time. They were like, what the fuck? I was washing my sheets. Once I found out it was scabies, I washed my sheets every single day. Every day I would take my sheets and I'd wash them because I still had the scabies for like a week during treatment. So he was like, towels, clothes, sheets, like everything needs to be washed. I'm like, okay, how do I tell my roommates that like they're infested with these fucking scabies?
Hey, don't panic.
Disgusting. And so I'm like, and my mom was like, don't get near Taylor because if you're pregnant, you obviously cannot put poison on your skin when you're pregnant, right? So you would just have to live with the scabies for 9 months and you probably want to kill yourself. Like horrible.
Oh my God.
And so anyways, I take the pill. I take the Xanax and the sleeping pill with it. I remember being like, because one thing I will say I never really dabbled in was pills. When I got my wisdom teeth out and I took like hydrocodone or whatever they give you, they make me really nauseous.
Yeah.
Like what's it called? Like is it narcotics?
Yeah.
Codeine and stuff like that can make me really like, ooh, I feel kind of sick. So
they also make you really constipated, by the way. It's just a
a
lot of it.
Great.
We don't
want that.
No.
Yeah. And so anyways, I was like, I liked the way I felt though. I was like, ooh, okay. It was a sleeping pill and a Xanax. So I was like, I felt myself getting sleepy. I felt myself feeling a little relaxed and high. I remember I was like on my phone texting people. And then I remember being like, oh my God. Oh my God. My body is like burning from the inside out, but not like I'm on fire, but like in a really scary way. Like you're not supposed to feel like then I was like, go to sleep, just go to sleep, go to sleep. And I did. I just like went to sleep. So I don't have too much of a traumatic story there. It obviously ended up working. It got rid of everything and they just flaked off for the next like 2 weeks. But like it really, whatever it was, he was right. He was like, it's going to feel like he didn't use the words burning from the inside out, but like that's what it felt like.
Not to scare you.
Not to scare you, but it's like you're burned alive from the inside out. He didn't say that. He just said it's going to be a burning sensation. You won't want to feel awake. And so I'm going to give you this relaxing medicine and a sleeping pill. But yeah, that's my story about scabies. And like, it's just fucking crazy. Working hard is worth it if you are seeing results. I'm a big, big believer in I need to see some results. Now, when it comes to working out, the same thing is true. You want the maximum benefit in the time that you have, which is not a lot for everyone. And that's exactly what Tonal is built for. Tonal's at-home strength training system uses adaptive weight to learn from your movement and set the optimal weight for everyone. This machine is so freaking smart, you guys. Tonal is the world's smartest workout that effortlessly fits into the busiest lifestyles. And with the latest iteration, Tonal 2, we got an upgrade, baby. You can ensure that your workout is more tailored and effective than ever. It is the coolest thing, you guys. This Tonal machine will adjust in 1 pound increments with adaptive weight that now goes up to 250 pounds. That's crazy. So it's going to challenge even the most advanced users to push their limits. And you can also experience a full body burn with the new Aero HIIT workout. And that's going to be like the perfect blend of heart pumping cardio and strength. Plus, there's more. The new built-in Smart View leverages a high-resolution camera. Like I said, this thing is so smart. It's so cool. And that's going to let you see yourself during your workout. It's going to analyze your movement and provides really cool real-time coaching, just like a personal trainer. Now, with new drop sets, Tonal 2 analyzes your movement, senses when you're fatiguing, which for me is a bit often, and it's going to drop that weight until your muscles are maxed out. It is an experience that you could only get in a gym until now. Thanks, Tonal. Right now, Tonal is offering my listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code PROBABLY. That's Tonal.com and use promo code PROBABLY for $200 off your purchase. That's TONAL.com, promo code PROBABLY for $200 off. So when we left the Bahamas, I saw this really
you weren't like really triggered.
This really, really itchy dot. And I was like, that's weird. I must have got a mosquito bite. Stay. Next day. And I am so traumatized. I said, I wonder if I have scabies. And I said, no. And then the next day there was another dot. I tell James says I'm so crazy about stuff, but like, it's because I've gone through so much that I'm like, I need to like stop in its tracks. He was like, you're crazy. You don't have
get
scabies.
The poison.
You don't have scabies. So I'm like, it goes. And then the next day, all it took was not the next day or like 2-3 days later, there were 3 dots in a row. And I go, that is fucking scabies. And you can see there's a line in the dot. And I just know, I just know so much about scabies. Okay. It's from burrowing. And I said, that's a burrow mark.
And then they lay
yeah,
eggs.
I was like, that's a burrow mark. And so I went and I have cream. It had to be 7 years expired. I don't care. It literally says, by the way, like if you go through my medicine cabinet, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, it's like hemorrhoid medicine, scabies cream. Like it just says scabies on it. And I put it on there. This is how I know it was scabies. I put it on there. it was gone 3 days later and they flaked up and came off. And there was only 3 and I got them, but like I had scabies.
Why are you? I've never known anyone in my whole entire life to have scabies. I don't know anything about scabies.
Mary Carl often says like, you are such a freak of nature. Like she was very much in my life during this whole process. And Taylor often is like, I can't believe that happened to you, but I didn't really tell her at the time because my mom was like, don't scare Taylor and don't get near her because like she was so pregnant. But yeah, it was a really insane time in my life.
I remember you telling me that person in story. I don't think we've ever talked about it on the mic, but like every time
I didn't mean for this to go that way, but
into so much detail that like I told you I had a story to tell you, and I honestly was like maybe not gonna tell the story because I was like it's kind of like weird, but then you just came out of the gate with the scabies. I'm like,
that's what I'm here for. I'm here to make you feel less weird, guys. If you think some weird shit has happened to you, just think you could be me. Anyways, the trip, I just like really will. I'll die on this hill. Like I love all my friends and my friends made things amazing, but like that Bachelorette trip, Taylor goes at the end of it. Taylor goes, I've had more fun with you at other times in our lives. And I was like, well,
it's because there's like a lot of pressure to create fun in those situations.
Yeah.
And also it's a lot. The hard part about weddings and all of these things, it's like people from all walks of life who, by the way, like aren't going to all be obsessed with each other like the way you love them.
Right.
So it's just when everyone comes together, sometimes it's kind of like a random just
hodgepodge. I mean, that was actually really good. I feel like all my
group
friends,
was great.
The group saved the trip.
Yeah.
Like everyone really, really vibed and got along. It was just like
sometimes there's just pressure there. Is what
we
I'm
were
saying.
I just like we kept trying to create fun. Like that night after we did dinner, and it was so fun. And then I was like some people wanted to gamble, some people were like, I do not want to gamble. And then that was like we were trying to make this club that was empty fun. And I was just like, I'm just at a point in my life where I don't have to be like, it's my bachelorette, we're staying. Like we're in an empty club. I want to go home. Like this is so boring. And Taylor's like, all your friends are like, no, let's party. I'm like, you guys, the club is empty. I feel like I'm on a cruise ship for teens. Like I'm not staying. Like let's go to sleep. Let's chug red wine and take an Adderall back at the hotel and talk. Like I don't want to be here. Like this is fucking lame. Like I will not be the like conductor of lame. This is fucking lame and y'all know it. And Taylor's like, I think it's fun. It's like the scene from Bridesmaids where she's like, Helen, are you hungry? She's like, yeah, actually, I'm starving. Actually, I want a snack. I'd like some almonds. Like Taylor's like, we're having so much fun. And I'm like, no, we're fucking not. Let's get out of here. Like the boat day was fun because we all just got fucking hammered. And like anytime you're just on the water and on a boat, that's just fun. And like just jumping around. Water. You're just in the water, you're having fun.
Water
But
play.
after that,
that's why I'm with turtles. I had a sweet time.
yeah, that was sweet too. I do like, I demand a recount at some point with the same group of people. And like,
Great group of people.
Great group of people. It should have been in a hotel. I think the house really did it for us. We were all really scared. And like the chefs that came, bless their hearts, they were really sweet. But like, what was some of that food? Like,
We were all just like, oh, we love it.
I was like, these eggs are yummy.
My default though is to make people comfortable no matter the situation.
The issue was the chefs, I literally feel like in another life were my sons or something. And I felt very emotionally like drawn to them and invested to them. So like they could have served us shit on a platter and I would have been like, I'm so proud of you guys for coming here and doing this and working so hard. And I love you. And here's all my money. Like just loved it. Yeah.
You are also very generous.
Well, maybe like, you know what? We rented a party bus to take us everywhere. Those were like the most fun moments of the whole trip.
Always.
Okay. Anyways, I just had to get that off my chest. I did not like my bachelorette party. That's all I had to say.
This podcast is actually now us just confessing.
Yeah, that's my confession. What's your confession?
Well, okay.
30 minutes. Great.
Okay, so I will try not to be too long-winded, but I am going to give just a little bit of backstory, but I'll hit the time mark. So I want you guys to know, as you approach 30s or you are in your 30s and you're married, you start learning a lot about pregnancy, childbirth, and your vagina. Okay?
Against your will, by the way. You can
Against
have
your
no
will.
desire to be pregnant, and
Yeah.
you just somehow you learn so much about it.
Yes. And I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm not pregnant. As everyone's always like, wait, baby. I'm not
Right.
pregnant. But I know there's a runway. I'm about to be 32. Austin's 37. Like,
Runway. I like that.
yeah. Like and so in my mind, I've had the mindset of I've had a injured shoulder. I'm going to get my shoulder really strong. I'm like, I would like to be really strong before we start actively trying to have a baby.
That's the thing. Taylor's talking about like having her fourth, and she literally was like, "Yeah, but before we do any of that, like I need to have my shoulder surgery. I need to make sure everything's good." Like that's a very responsible way to look
like
at
I
things.
just am someone that's like, I'm gonna take really good care of myself and set myself up for this runway. This story is so unhinged. Okay, so I start learning a lot about the vagina because I start having this really bad back pain.
Okay.
And
Lower back, mid back.
Lower back.
Okay.
And it only starts acting up at night. It was damn scabies.
You have scabies.
I know. I'm like, fuck. But it was really weird because I sound like this sounds so geriatric, but if you never had really bad back pain, like you really cannot get comfortable and sleep. It is actually really bad.
People talk about back pain being one of the more debilitating things. It's why a lot of people find themselves in bad situations medically, because they'll just go, they're like, any surgery, anything. Have you ever read Dr. Death? It's all about these people who get spinal surgeries and stuff, and because and they keep going to this doctor because they're desperate, because apparently back pain is like chronic back pain is something that people like it ruins your life.
And I was apparently on that trajectory, because I would have these flare-ups like
sciatica. What was it?
No, every 3 to 6 months.
Me, I'm trying to diagnose my sciatica.
I would just have this really intense back pain. Well, so I actually had a friend who is in chiropractics, and he does these tests on me. Well, I found out a couple things. I'm extremely flexible, which everyone's like, oh, that's great. It's not. I'm actually too flexible. That's why my shoulder keeps popping out.
She's too flexible. Woe is me. She's so bendy and hot. I'm actually too flexible.
Someone say I'm too flexible. No, it's actually a medical problem.
Okay.
If you're hypermobile. When you're... I'm kidding. When you're riding that dick. No. But in a medical sense, because you guys, I've dislocated my shoulder 3 times in the last year. I've been asleep when it happens, because I get so...
We have talked about this in the podcast. That's a problem.
I get so relaxed that my joints will slip out of place. That's fucking scary when you go to bed at night.
Scary.
Okay? So let me have this one.
Imagine you did have a baby and you're like, I can't wake up with my baby, my arms out of socket.
Yeah, so like I really told myself, like, but like we haven't even had the conversation of like we want to start trying. We're not there, but like I'm like, it takes a long time to recover from, certain injuries, whatever. I'm in my getting strong era.
I don't know about you guys, but I like keeping my money where I can see it. Okay, very important to me. Now, unfortunately, traditional big wireless carriers for our cell phones, these are also seem to like keeping my money too. All right, that seems like they're big fans of that. So after years of overpaying for wireless, I cannot think about how many years, honestly. I finally got fed up from all these crazy high wireless bills. You guys, like bogus fees. You know the deal. We all deal with this, and the quote unquote free perks that actually end up costing me way more in the long run. So I switched to Mint Mobile. Now, James has Mint Mobile. He got me on board with it. It is genuinely so incredible, the savings that you have, but also just the 5G network. So say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills that I used to see, and my jaw would actually drop because of the unexpected overages. Insane. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. Like, I will not gatekeep that. $15 a month. And all plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G networks. And you are getting that service, baby. So use your own phone. That was a big deal for me. Like, honestly, I just did not want to get a new phone or have to change my phone number. I feel very like personally attached to my phone number, and you can keep your phone number along with all your existing contacts and ditch those overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for, again, $15 a month. That's just crazy. So if you like your money, like I do, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/probably. That's mintmobile.com/probably. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for the first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
So I'm having this back pain. I go see someone. They're like, I think that you need to strengthen your pelvic floor.
Okay. Oh, that's also great for pre-pregnancy.
Yeah.
They say you should do that.
So I'm just telling you guys this. So before I tell you the story, you don't think I'm fucking insane. Okay.
What are how do you work on your pelvic floor?
Pelvic floor. There's lots of... I'm about to tell you what I
tried.
I'm about to tell you.
Taylor does a ton of it before she gives birth, and then after to re-strengthen her pelvic floor. Like bitches are always talking about their pelvic floor.
Yeah, it's a hot topic. And honestly, I've been teaching classes. So I teach somatic classes, and a lot of them are like anger release. So for me as an instructor, they get really, really intense, and I'll be like jumping and kind of like, I say yelling. I'm not yelling. I'm just like giving people sort of direction, but it's over music. And literally recently, like I jumped really hard and almost like peed a little. Like that's how I know. I'm like, I've got to strengthen this shit up. And there's certain things you do. Like if you try to like go to the bathroom a lot before you go to bed, because people try to like empty their bladder. It's actually not good. It's like weakening the bladder, the ability to hold. Listen, I'm telling you, I've gotten in a real weird place on TikTok. Pelvic floor TikTok.
I literally hate peeing in the middle of the night. So I do that sometimes. Okay, that's good to know.
It's like a thing, but then it's not really good for your bladder. Anyways, okay, so y'all understand this is where I'm at. I'm a curious cat. I also am impulsive. Shannon and I have talked about this, and I don't do enough research sometimes when I'll just be like willy-nilly about things that I shouldn't be willy-nilly. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is not medical advice, and if you do it, I'm literally going to be like, do not do this. Anna Grace did not tell me to do this.
Okay.
So I get on this really interesting side of TikTok, and they're sharing different pelvic floor exercises that you can do. Okay. And I stumbled upon this woman who is a professional vaginal weightlifter.
Now, let me tell you something. I have seen this before. I'm not going to cut you off, but I have only one time. But I saw this and I said, what the fuck is this? And it was a lady who could hold weight inside of her vagina. And the task is you just have to basically walk with it in your vagina. And she can hold like it was like weights, like basically they have to attach it to something and then the weight hangs down and she can hold it. Yeah. I said, she got that gorilla grip. Like she got that grip. Crazy. Imagine, like, a guy should be scared.
He might lose his thing inside of that clamp.
That's tight. Venus flytrap.
But yeah. So anyway, so that comes up. That's not where I was really going with the journey, but I start getting served all of this like strength training, pelvic floor.
Why don't you watch one?
Yeah, it's just like, because I was looking up different exercises and then I get on this really crazy spot. So fast forward to New Year's Eve. Austin and I go have a actually really magical New Year's Eve. We are wandering around this little place getting a smoothie. I end up walking into a crystal store.
Okay. As one does.
As one does. And I was like, this would be really great. I would love to get some bowls, some like singing bowls. And we were going to do a little New Year's ceremony to close out the new year. And we were just going to do like a little something, just the two of us, something nice. Austin, he's
always along for the ride. I was like, I imagine Austin was just like, sounds good, babe.
Sounds good. Austin is along for the ride. He's like, no idea what's happening. Don't know what's.
Sure.
So while I'm in there, I pick up this little crystal and I'm like, oh my gosh. This is the little crystal. They're called a Yoni egg, and it's just like a little egg, and it's like the foundation for people strength training and their China pots.
Oh, to use to like try to hold. Is it a ball? Okay.
So I'm like,
how heavy is it?
Not heavy at all. Like like
a marble.
I would say combined weight of like 10 marbles.
10 marbles? Are you sure? I think maybe like 3. 10 marbles?
I mean, they're like an egg. Like I want you to think
it's like the size of an egg.
Think of an egg in your kitchen.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that would be 10 marbles.
Now, here's the thing I'm going to tell you guys. I'm sure this is a beautiful, sacred, ancient practice that has a lot of history. And it's also, rooted and there's some, I've always followed a lot of people who talk about Chinese medicine. I'm sure there's a lot behind it. But here's the thing. This is where I fucked around and found out I didn't do my research. Okay. So Austin and I do this beautiful ceremony. I have all these new crystals. I put them outside under the moon. I'm like, just doing my thing. I'm expressing gratitude, clear the energy. I'm doing everything. A couple days go by. First week of January. Austin takes Zane to basketball. So I have the house to myself and I'm about to do an everything shower. Well, these videos start coming up to me about people who would put these Yoni eggs in because you're supposed to be able to hold them.
Right.
To like, for like it's basically like creating so you can clamp them like it's a training, almost like a Kegel, but with a weight.
Right. The whole concept is you Kegel it for long enough to hold it inside of you.
Yes.
There's a scene in 50 Shades of Grey where the guy inserts like a ball inside of her, or there's something where like she tries to hold it in for as long as she can. It's like a sexual practice too, because the longer she holds it in, then like the bigger her release is or something. I don't understand, but anyways.
Okay.
There's a scene where he like takes the ball out and then inserts himself in and she's like, ah, it's like a whole thing. I haven't read that book since I was literally probably like 12 when it came out, but like, yeah.
So
okay.
maybe there's that.
So you thought during you would just the duration of the shower, you would see if you could hold?
No. So I take a shower and I was like, I was going to do a little meditation, and I always like to do movement. I love to dance. I love to put on music, and I always do it when I'm home alone. Well, I saw this girl do this video where she's like talking about a Yoni egg, and she's like, if you put them in while you're dancing, also crystals.
Seems so hard.
She was like, it'll like. She's like, it'll probably fall out and like fall on the floor. You got to rinse it off and put it back in. And I'm going, what the hell? So I was like, I'm just going to put it in because I'm just curious if it's actually like hard.
Okay, I'll tell you something. I would definitely have to see for myself.
So curiosity
I would be like,
got the cat.
You know what it is? Like, you'd want to kind of prove like a point. Like you're like, I bet I could hold this. Or like, see if you're like, no way. How do people hold these?
Yeah. Like I literally was like, oh my God, I'm just telling the story. I'm starting to get stressed out. Okay, I'm wrapping it up. So I got a rose quartz one, which is a self-love stone. And I'm like, me loves myself, loves my little precious, hopefully womb space one day. God bless me.
And it's like a shaped circle.
Shaped like an egg.
Got it.
Shaped like an egg, and it's smooth. And it's a pink. It's pink.
Okay? Got it.
So I'm like, what the hell? So I just showered. I'm naked. I'm like, I'm just going to like see if they're not big. It's not as big as a real egg. It's not that big. Things I didn't think about. So I can't believe I'm telling this story in public. I already told Austin though, and he lost it. So I just am like, okay, willy-nilly. Again, didn't do any research. Just kind of put it in like I'm inserting a tampon or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, by the way, when you said egg, I'm like, that's not that big. Like, people use Super Plus tampons. People have dicks inside of them. Like, an egg is not crazy.
You guys, I put it in. The thing that I didn't account for is like, okay, you know, a vagina is like a vacuum.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's why you suck somebody's D is because it's like a vacuum.
Yeah.
This thing is like...
Oh, it disappears.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Which, but by the way, to me makes me think that your vagina muscles are nice and strong.
I think they are. No, I think they're really strong. So then I'm like, I go, oh my God, oh my God.
It happened instantly? You knew instantly something's wrong.
Well, like I put it in and it's like your body just sort of like takes it in just like a tampon.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it kinda, like, pulls it into that spot. And then I have a moment where I go, what the fuck did I just do? And then I go to stick my fingers in to get it out.
You're
and
pushing
it's
it further.
slippery and I'm pushing it
No.
further.
And I'm
going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm home alone.
I'm actually really stressed.
I'm home alone. And thank God my neighbor who practices Chinese medicine, who would at least not judge me, but also would be like, what are you thinking? And her husband would be like, what were you thinking? Because I was like, I'm going to have to go down there and be like, I willingly, no one forced me, stuck this thing up my vagina. And now it's so slippery, I can't get it out.
I can't grab it.
I can't get it out. And I'm like, oh my God, it's trapped. And it's a rock.
And you're...
It's not a tampon,
I'm
it's
like
a
getting
rock.
really like...
No.
Because can it eventually just go into a place it shouldn't be? Like...
No,
I don't know.
No. Oh, so
I don't know
like,
the female anatomy
getting
clearly.
actually really scared because on the video the girl's like, it might just fall out. Like if you're dancing, whatever.
You should have just got up and started dancing.
So okay, no, but at this point, I mean, truly, I got so nervous because I was like, oh my God, I think it's stuck in my fucking vagina. How am I gonna explain this to people? My mind is going a million miles an hour. Like I'm gonna have to go to the emergency room and they're gonna have to like fucking cut me open and remove a crystal.
It's literally like I've told the story before about Brantley's stepdad, who's a urologist, and he has to get stuff out of people's rectums all the time because like a lot of people will put stuff up their butts and like for sexual pleasure and stuff like boucle ball, like pool balls and like light bulbs and stuff gets stuck in their rectum and they have to like extract
light bulb. You got a death wish.
No, yeah.
If that thing broke,
I think it's like a big thing in certain.
What? That sounds so
lives.
dangerous. I've never heard
Agreed.
of that. Okay, well, but this was my danger moment. So I am literally in my head. I am full blown freaking out. I told Austin I had another near death experience because I was like, how am I ever going to explain to anyone that
It is humiliating if you had to go to the doctor.
I mean, humiliating. So I'm like,
you just know they're going home going, took a crystal out of this girl, put a crystal up her vagina. We got to get it out. They'll do anything. People are on TikTok do anything these days. Like you just know you would have been the like laugh in the break room.
Well, and when the videos that I was seeing on TikTok were just people putting this smooth egg up, no big deal. Then I go back on TikTok to look it up, and I see people who have drilled a hole in it with a string.
No.
Like not everyone, but some people did. So there's a string so you could pull it out. So I'm literally like, this is my worst nightmare. I'm so scared. This crystal is now a part of my body. We're going to have to go on. I don't know. I'm going to tell Austin. He's gone. I'm like, I'm so scared. So I Google, this is so bad. I Google I like ChatGPT how to get a yoni egg out of your vagina.
What does it say? What does it say?
It says you've got to literally lay it like an egg.
It says you have to lay it like an egg.
Like a chicken.
It's like, bitch, you wanted to do this. You have to do it.
So I
You want to put the egg up, you got to get the egg out. Lay it. Balk like a chicken and lay it.
No, literally, it's like if it gets stuck, you gotta.
I'll tell you, immediately I thought you should go ahead and get on all fours and you should, but that comes from a girl who experiences constipation often.
No, I literally was like, oh my God. Like I really was so scared. The story's funny, but I was so scared. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. So I just start like literally pushing like I'm giving birth.
Yep.
Like I fully go into a primal stance birth mode. A baby is coming out and I'm delivering it. And
all of this is great to prep yourself. That's what it wanted to do.
It's great.
It's like, you want to know about childbirth? No problem.
You want to check in on the state of your vagina?
We'll
Absolutely.
show
So I literally balk like a chicken pretty much. No, I don't do that. But I do get into a squat and push it out to the point where I am literally laying an egg.
Yeah.
Actually. And it came right out.
All of this is pointing to strong vagina. I'm just saying.
Thank you. I think it's a strong vagina.
Like the signs are pointing to you were able to get it up and you were able to get it out and you were able to force it out. And that to me gives strength, resilience.
And also, like, I had the ability to process in a very heightened state. Like, I was able to remain calm and get the egg out.
Calm?
You know, I actually I'm surprised I didn't cry, because the thought of having something stuck inside your body is a really weird scare. It's like when you stick a marble up your nose as a little kid and you're like,
yeah, I thought I had a tampon up there one time. I didn't, but I convinced myself I did. And so I was trying so hard to find it. And I was getting squeamish. Like, I was like, I can't reach up any further. Like, I can't do this. And it's so medical. It doesn't feel sexual at all. Like, I know you're like been fingered before, but it's like, it's so different. And I'm like, it's not, I just like can't. And then eventually I realized that like I literally didn't have anything up there, but like, if you convince yourself of something, like, it's a very like not gross, but like it's really like a scary feeling, like that something's stuck inside of you.
Yeah. And then like it was slippery, a lot of things. So anyways, I did lay it like an egg. And Austin got home, laid like a chicken. I laid an egg. I actually laid an egg.
What comes first? Now you know.
Yeah. And
the Yoni egg.
But Austin, I mean, I was crying laughing by the time he got home to him. I was like, you're not gonna believe, because he was with me when I bought the thing. He goes, you're gonna stick that up your China pot? Like, he was like, literally like, y'all, like, and he was like, do all girls do that?
No.
The way that unfortunately I'm the blueprint for Austin, he's probably like, women are crazy.
James thinks it's crazy that we show each other our body parts. like I'll be like,
Shannon,
look at my boobs, and James will be like right there, because obviously James has seen my boobs, and I don't care if James sees my boobs. And then Anna Grace,
I have spray tanned every crack of Shannon's body.
Crevasse. Like, James will be like, whenever I spray tan Anna Grace or Taylor, which is rare, but like if I ever spray tan them, and I'm like, don't come in here because we're both just walking around naked. He's like, so you guys are just, and he's not saying it in a sexual way, like, you guys are just walking around naked in there. He's like, so you guys are just walking around completely naked. Oh, and a couple times if my friends aren't being spray tanned, but I just spray tan, so I need to walk around naked, and then James is coming in, the friends are there, and he's like, babe, you're just fully naked in front of your friends. I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's so weird. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, that's not. Like, guys are just like, we don't, like, they're obviously naked in front of each other, like, obviously, like, changing rooms, locker rooms stuff. But he's like, that is so weird. I'm like, really? I don't think it is.
I don't think it's weird either. I love being a naked girly. There's like a trend on TikTok right now that's like, are you a naked mom? Or did you grow up with a naked mom? Like a mom that was like naked in front of you?
My mom, like, there were definitely times where I was like, can you put some clothes on?
You know,
when you're young and everything's like, I'm embarrassed. Like, I'm like, mom, stop.
Naked. But anyways, that was my most recent near-death experience. I literally came out of my body because I was like, I'm gonna die with a crystal inside of my hoo-ha. But I do think, actually, if you did it right, maybe drilled a hole, put a little string in it,
I see the allure.
Could be a great practice.
Yeah.
Don't knock it till you try it. But I wouldn't do what I did, because can you believe I just stuck something up there without reading any directions?
Yes. Yes.
And that's what I did.
We're gonna leave you guys there.
Anyways.
We have been talking for 2 hours straight.
Yeah,
Courtney
we've gotta
is
go.
in the kindest way possible telling us to wrap it up.
She is. I gotta go to therapy and talk some more.
Oh my god, so
I get to see
fun.
my therapist in person because I'm in Nashville today.
That's so nice. I'm happy for you.
Yeah,
I
me
love
too.
you guys so much. I wish we could have 17 more episodes with you. They're just always fantastic.
I love you.
Love
Thanks
you
guys for
guys.
having me.
Bye.